Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, counsel for the defense has gotten up here and they have presented you with a last valiant effort in an attempt to get you to return a verdict for their client. And some of the details that opposing counsel brings up are the proper details to focus on. But their focus is wrong. Their focus is unclear. They want you to focus on the knife. Let's focus on the knife. Let's focus on the forensic analysis of the knife. Let's focus on the fact that this knife is a locking blade and cannot be closed by dropping to the ground. Let's focus on the fact that there are no fingerprints on the knife belonging to my client. Let's focus on the fact that there is no blood evidence or any evidence at all linking this knife to my client. We can focus on the knife. They want you to focus on the police policy and say that Officer Waldman was justified in using deadly force. Let's focus on the policy. Yes, officers should not endanger themselves or others in an effort to conform to this policy. But Mr. Ramirez testified that as soon as Officer Levy identified himself, he put his hands up and asked to see identification. At that point, were the officers' lives really endangered? Were they endangered from an unarmed man with his hands in the air? They want you to focus on the policy. The policy says the deadly force is a last resort measure. He did not fire a warning shot. He did not issue a verbal warning. He was only 3 feet away. All he did was fire. They want you to focus on Mr. Ramirez, my client. Say that he was a angry drunk who had been out bar hopping all night long. Let's focus on Mr. Ramirez and who he was. He was a good friend, loving husband, father, a great co-worker. He's none of those now, due to Officer Waldman. His wife has passed away. He no longer can perform most of the manual labor that was customary to his job because of his injury. And he can no longer play sports and play with his child because of the constant pain that he suffers. They want you to focus on the experts and the fact that Dr. Angrist didn't examine Mr. Ramirez on the night of the incident. Let's focus on the experts. Dr. Marshall examined Mr. Ramirez on December 7th. Yes. He made observations, he made notes, he prepared records of everything he saw. Everything he saw was then in those notes that were sent to Dr. Angrist. Dr. Angrist actually took those notes, made her impressions in conjunction with interviewing Mr. Ramirez and asking what happened. Merely taking notes is not the same as taking notes, asking questions, and coming up with opinions. And in Dr. Angrist's expert opinion, the story that was presented to her by my client was consistent with the facts. So counsel for the defense is right in wanting you to focus on these details. But they want you on autofocus. They want to be able to direct the focus to what they want. I think the jury, as you begin to deliberate, ladies and gentlemen, you are smart enough to switch to manual focus and put the focus on the things you should see. And as you deliberate, I ask you for a verdict in favor of my client, Robert Ramirez. Thank you.